Hello, I'm Natalie Pantaleo. Welcome back to my podcast, The Inside Out Podcaster. I'm here with my friend, mentor, and also she's my publisher for my monthly column online in the Italian American Herald, Barbara Ann Zippi. Thank you for coming to my kitchen today and chatting with me.
It is so nice to be here with you, Natalie, and with your audience. So I'm looking forward to our conversation.
Yeah, well, let me tell you. Barbara won't say this about herself, but really she has a title that's an AKA. It's the mayor of Delaware County.
Oh my God.
Now, she has been in the newspaper industry in the business for as long as I've known you. Early in my career, I ran the marketing and communications department for Franklin Mint, and I joined the Delaware County Press Club, and you were the president.
Yes.
And you have just natural tendency to network, and you have a way of combining all these things. We reconnected on LinkedIn. I guess it was a little over a year and a half ago.
I am a big believer in LinkedIn as not a job seeking venue, but to connect with people.
That's right. Barbara posted that she was looking for a writer, and I said, I know you. We met years ago, and I had been, my daughter's 20, so it'd be 20 years ago.
A writer. A Wall writer, remember?
That's right. And I had done some wine pieces freelance. So here we are. So I now write, and Barbara is the associate publisher of the Italian American Herald. So that's a great place to start.
Which is a good place to start, and it's the newspaper. We cover Philadelphia, New Jersey, from like Cherry Hill to Atlantic City to Cape May, the whole state of Delaware, from the beaches to Wilmington, and greater Philadelphia's region and the suburbs.
Right.
So your column gets published monthly on wine, and we're always looking for an interesting topic, whether it's women in wine or there's so many wineries out there now.
Yes.
So it's a fun column to see you write.
I really appreciate the opportunity to do it. It gives me pleasure, because it's almost like a hobby to write it rather than work. It doesn't feel like...
Because it brings joy to the people that are in the article, to the people running the article. Then we can share it not only in print, but digitally through social media now. So it's exciting.
So tell us, how did you become the associate publisher of the Italian American Herald?
So for years, I ran my own production company called Artemis Productions. Got very involved with the press club, which I do believe that people, if you want to increase your visibility in business, whatever that might be, I think networking used to be the key before COVID, but it had started to dwindle off, real networking. But then after COVID, nobody knows how to network anymore. But I do believe that's important. So I always got involved with like either a Chamber of Commerce or the press club as a volunteer, because I just think that you get back from that effort, the people you meet, and the more you get involved with that organization. I've been involved with them since, I hate to say the 80s when I started in business, but I've made lifelong friends and associates, and I started to get you involved in that as well.
Yes, yes. So did you approach Today Media about the
the Italian American Herald newspaper? I've had a column in here, page in here for years. It's 10 years old now, called ciaobellalivingitalianstyle. And I was doing news on Italian Americans in the community. Then personally, my husband got sick and passed away. And during that transition, I pulled back from all my activities, because you want to spend time with the people you love. You got to try to fit your regular life into your work life, into whatever. And I always kept my column up. But in my other efforts, I pulled back. And when the editor from here retired, and we both know Rob Martinelli, who's the chairman of Today Media that publishes this. They also own Mainline Today magazine, Delaware Today magazine, The Hunt.
Hudson News, too.
And they have Hudson Valley in New York and 912 Area Code magazine in New York. And then they just bought a Maryland magazine. So, but we're the only newspaper. And we're the only ethnic newspaper, because Rob Martinelli's mother actually was an immigrant from Calabria.
Oh, wow.
So when I saw that, and you know, I'm pretty much live, sleep, eat, and breathe Italian, right? I made arrangements for Rob. Known Rob through the years, and said I wanted to put my hat in the ring. And he said, "What do you want to be?" Well, I want to be in charge.
And she's great. She is great at delegating, directing. She's got a lot of balls.
He said, "I'm the publisher." I go, "Well, then I want to be the associate publisher." And we've helped grow the newspaper in the region in the last 3 years. It's really exciting with writers like you. Added an e-newsletter, added a website. Your listeners can go, viewers. It's ItalianAmericanHerald.com, and you could sign up for the free newsletter. Natalie's articles are all in the digital archives, right? And just Google her name in the search, Italian American Herald, and all her stories will come up. And we're growing it, and it's exciting. I love it.
I know, it is exciting. So, Barbara has to do some professional development, of course, even as the associate publisher. So she has to go to Italy, poor woman, for half the year. No, actually, it's a wonderful thing. You still have family in Italy, in the Abruzzo region, and she brought us these treats today. They're so delicious, amaretti cookies, and
I did. Post-COVID, I was lucky that my mother's mother, when she came here as a mail order bride, basically, in the early 1900s, I was lucky because she kept in touch with our family in Abruzzo. It's a little province called Loreto Abruzino on the Adriatic coast. And these almond cookies, my cousin Simona makes. And these amaretti cookies are from the local bakery in the town that she made me the night before I left.
wow.
Packaged up for it.
They really held up well. And I remember when I was in Italy, I felt like everything tasted so much more authentic there. They didn't have as many preservatives or things. So it's amazing that these homemade cookies, I just had one today. Just had one. It was delicious. So they held up across the pond and in an airplane and in her suitcase.
They do. So I'm a big proponent of promoting the Abruzzo region and the southern region of Italy for people to visit, because most of the time you go, of course, rightfully so, to Venice and Rome and Florence and Milan and all the major attractions. However, when you can add a few days before or after, Abruzzo is the region where most of the working Italian American class families, their roots are from Abruzzo, because there are people.
My paternal side, my paternal great-grandparents came from outside of Chieti, a little town called Cesaplana in Abruzzo.
Oh, and that's right near my town, Chieti. And Chieti is the capital of that area.
It's split now, right? There's two. It used to be.
Well, Chieti is the name of the province, but it's also the name of the town.
Oh, the town.
So it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I didn't go to the Adriatic side when I was in Italy.
Well, you have to come visit me on one of my back and forths to Italy there, and I'll take you to Chieti. Because my one grandmother was born in that town. And so, according to the Italian consulate here in Philadelphia that covers 7 states, most of the people have southern Italy roots, but their tourism never got to them yet. And now they're just starting to experience Americans going into that part of town.
It's these best kept secrets. I know family, years ago, like you said, people will go to the famous places when you're in Italy. I mean, I may be biased, but I don't know of a single person that's ever gone to the country of Italy and not had an amazing experience. You have everything there: history, agriculture, weather, beaches, food, of course, people,
Art,
music. It is just, it's an incredible place. Architecture is unbelievable. But I remember years ago, no one went to Sicily. Now Sicily's the hottest spot. I'm talking way back,
Yes.
And my mother's side of the family is from the Mediterranean side. They're the coastline below Amalfi, but above Calabria, called Cilento. And these are these best kept secret places. So honestly, and I'm not just plugging Barbara, but when you read her column in the Italian American Herald, you get these little secret tips about where you might want to go. And in fact, the April issue, we're filming this March 19th, the April issue, which will be out in a couple weeks. She talks about different shrines that are known to, you might experience a miracle.
Because 2025, for your viewers to know, is the year of the Jubilee in Italy. And the Jubilee year only happens every 25 years. It means that the Pope officially opens gold sets of doors in 3 cathedrals in Rome. You can only go through them once every 25 years, or you can go through them many times during the 25th year. But after December 31st, 2025, the doors will be closed till 2050. And so a lot of people will be coming, but besides going and making that stop in Rome, then there's the shrine. Padre Pio's birth town is on your side, on the Mediterranean side. Padre Pio's San Giovanni Rotondo, where he passed away and did all his work.
In the column.
Yes, I interviewed his personal photographer. That was his photographer from 10 years old. He's like in his 80s now. And but there's that side is on the Adriatic. Then there's oh my gosh, there's just so many. And Abruzzo's shrine is the shrine of Santa Gabriele, a young man who died 24 years old. But when I went to that town, when I went to Abruzzo, and I'm living with my patroness, my grandmother's 90-year-old aunt who speaks no English, and my Italian was very bad except for dialect, which, the old people understand, but not the young people. She said to me, you have to go see this Santa Gabriele. It's the patron saint. And I really never knew. So my girlfriend...
Of the town or of the region?
Of the region. He's of Abruzzo region.
If you asked me what the patron saint of Abruzzo was, I would have had to say St. Anthony, because you know how many times my grandmother said in her lifetime? Thousands. Son dun dun. There were some Abruzzo.
But St. Anthony is big because my patroness, her name is Antonietta. So they get celebrated in January for St. Anthony. And St. Anthony gets a second one in Italy too, because there's 2 different St. Anthonys. So he's very popular in Abruzzo.
Yeah, I forget the second part of their name, but I knew they...
He's very popular with 2 feast days, 2 different St. Anthony's, and they celebrate big. The one in January has the taralli cookies of the tradition.
I think this could really be a podcast today about touring Italy.
I know. What do you want to talk about?
No, I love this, because I have been dying to get back, and I will get back, because I want my book to be translated into Italian, or we'll just see where it all takes us. But I was going to say, this is speaking of the saints and speaking of Italy. Last month was March, or this month that we're in is March. It's Women's History Month in the United States. And so I was going to write my column on the Nonino sisters that have a world-famous grappa. And I saw the movie Cabrini, so I'm going to bring it full circle. I was so impressed with Mother Cabrini, and I couldn't believe how little I knew about her in my upbringing.
Yes, many of us.
And so I called Barb and I said, hey, if I could tie Mother Cabrini to wine, can I change my column to Mother Cabrini? And she said, go for it. I found a sentence. So if you want to read it, it's online now.
ItalianAmericanHerald.com.
Right. It was this month's issue. So I want to know about Ciao Bella, the television station, because that's basically, you do explore culture, and you do the same thing that we're doing right now organically about Italy and
I do.
American.
Radnor Studios, mainline TV, out in the main line in the Philadelphia region. I was coordinating for somebody else to have a TV show on that channel. And they backed out, and George Strimmel was the station manager at that time, and he said, Barbara, why don't you do the TV show? And me, I always worked behind the scenes television for family, and I said, I don't know. He said, go home and think of a name. And I searched all over, came up with ciaobellalivingitalianstyle. He loved it, and it started out with me interviewing Italian Americans from the region, which there's so many stories of the Italian American community, just sports, business, just small business owners, women, men. So then Bob got sick, so I took a little hiatus. And when I came back from going to Abruzzo after COVID, when COVID first opened up, I got on a plane to go over. And when I came home, I stopped by the studio, and the guy that was the intern there for me was the general manager now, or is the general manager, Kevin. And I said, Kevin, I have all these pictures in this video from Abruzzo, my adventures in Abruzzo. And I don't want to bore my family with them. They don't want to see it. And he said, oh, Barbara, let's talk about it on here. So I have 2 new shows, 2 new half-hour shows every month. They can be seen on mltv21.org/ciaobella. And you'll see all the different episodes and the adventures in Abruzzo. We go to a supermarket. My cousins that made, my cousin Simona that made the sugar almonds, her and her sisters, I photographed them cooking in these little tiny kitchens. No garbage disposals, because in the mountain towns of Italy, in the southern region, not tourist region, it's all terrain. It's not anything modern, but it's fun.
Yeah, that's great. That's awesome. So you said you had your start, you mentioned a little bit about family television. So you have to say your original connection, your original inspiration for getting into this business was?
So, in Italian people, you're either contractors, policemen, priests, or singers, right? So my family is a family of contractors on my mother's side. And my father's side, my uncle was Al Alberts, who was the lead singer of the Four Aces, Love is a Many Splendored Thing, and Three Coins in a Fountain. They won the Academy Award for that. So there isn't, the Italian connection to Rome.
And people that are watching this who might be a little younger even than me might not know of Al Alberts, but it was a Sunday show.
Al Alberts show.
Al Alberts showcase after when he had the show on, was it PBS?
It was Channel 20. It was Channel 6. It was ABC Network. It was one of the longest running community programs in the country. It ran for almost 33 years. And we went 52 weeks a year. We never took breaks I worked with them. We never took breaks for like every 13 weeks, and then you take the summer off and you come back in September. For some reason, we just, when it was time to do summer shows, we did them on remote in Wildwood. We did them in Hershey Park. We did them on the road. We just took the TV camera crew from Channel 6 and shot the shows all over of talent who have been very successful today.
I have a cousin who was on the show at the showcase. She was little. Somebody on the Albert show. You could connect the dots. Just this morning, I was at Blue Mercury in Suburban Square picking up a couple products before I came down here to shoot today. And this woman who waited on me, we connected the dots. Her husband, who recently passed away, was a great friend of my dad's, and I happened to be wearing my dad's school ring today. It was just a coincidence. I don't wear this. And they went to Southeast High together, Southeast Catholic, excuse me. Anyway, she also knew of your Uncle Al and Stella.
Well, how did that conversation?
I don't remember her maiden name, but her name is Anita Bovo, and she works at Blue Mercury. She was excellent today there. But anyway, I said, I'm interviewing. It came up because I said to her, I don't know how I mentioned, she said, Pantaleo sounds familiar. Told her my name. I said, my dad. And then she said, we had a deli, a business in Ann Arbor. I said, wait a minute, what's your last name? My father's friend had this business in and one thing led to another. Like it does, right? Where that's, connect the dots, networking. But his name came up and I said, oh my goodness, today I'm going to be.
Yes. I cut that was my college education working for them, cutting my teeth on Showcase. I still connect with a lot of people from the alumni. Mm-hmm. There were different years of singers, right. And many of them touch base. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has been on Showcase, either in the audience or sang or in a dance group or in a band, please reach out to me or Natalie, because I'm trying to gather the Al Alberts alumni for some exciting things coming up. But that program was on Channel 6 in Philadelphia, 33 years. People like Teddy Prendergast was on it. Andrea McArdle was the first Annie. I'm trying to think of the name of the guy from Jersey Boys who was on Broadway.
Frankie Valli?
No, he played Frankie Valli. He was the original one that played on Broadway, and his name is Jared Spector.
Oh, okay.
He was a teeny bopper. At 3 years old, I have video of him singing with Santa Claus and my Uncle Al Alberts as a trio. So it's amazing the people who have come through Showcase.
So you're still like innovating. You still have all these ideas. What's next? What's next for Barbara?
You know, I think we have to keep reinventing ourselves. Really, at the different stages of our life, take advantage of what we've learned, see what we can do. Because
And is that ever true? I feel like a phoenix.
I've known people into their 90s that went to work every day. Owners of Pennsylvania Institute of Technology, the Strines are good friends of mine, Media Real Estate. They're still active in the business community, although they're not in their 90s yet. So don't, but the Garrisons are
straight.
But I do believe that in your circle of friends, you should have multi-generational friends.
Yes.
You should have friends in their 50s, at 40s, in their 50s, in their 60s, and their 70s, and their 80s. People are still moving and shaking. As long as Sophia Loren is out there, and all those, Gina Lollobrigida, she took a seat in the Italian parliament in her 90s before she passed away.
I didn't know that.
So, you know, our time's never up. We just have to figure out what's the next chapter.
It's your approach to life. It's your approach, you know, it's your thinking, your mindset, you know, that you could be as young as you want or keep going and keep inventing, you know?
Yes.
That's true, yeah. Well, Barbara, I'm so glad that you came down today. I'm really glad that you brought us some goodies from Italy.
Or do I have to split these with Kevin? I brought plastic bags, Kevin. See that you could put some in your bag and some in her bag.
Little shout out to the Kevin Chickenberg GK video. I'm going to have a Simone made these.
Simone Nobilio, she made those.
Sugar-covered almond.
Oh, you know what? I wonder. Yeah, she did make them because I didn't want to bypass her sister Rita and Carla because they bake and cook too as well.
Well, next time you bring me something from that. Well, thank you so much for coming down. I'm going to be talking to you this week.
For the invitation. Thanks for the invitation. I really appreciate it.
You'll find in the links ways to get in touch with Barbara if you missed it, and ways to get in touch with me, and give us a like or subscribe, and we'll see you next time.
Ciao.